Hello everybody, welcome back to another 2024 coin flip battle, and today we've got the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro for the Democrats, up against U.S. Senator from Florida, Rick Scott for the Republicans. This was suggested to me in the comments. It took a while, but here it is. This should be a great showdown. Heads is for Shapiro, tails is for Scott. Let's hope we have a good one, a fun one, a great one, whatever kind of superlative you want to throw on the end of that. Let's start in Alaska. Here it is, first flip, 3 electoral votes. Who wants to draw first blood? Looks like Rick Scott does. He's out to win this thing. He's not messing around. He takes Alaska. Next state, Hawaii. Here it comes, 4 electoral votes. Josh Shapiro says not so fast. He's taking the lead. Now we go back to the West Coast. Washington, 12 votes here at stake. Josh Shapiro's got those. Next state, that's going to be Oregon. 8 electoral votes. Shapiro, 3 in a row for him. And now we've got California. What other state could it be? Ton of votes, 54 of them. Somebody's going to have a huge lead. Who's it going to be? And it's going to Josh Shapiro. Look at that. Blue West Coast, 4 straight for Shapiro. Here's Nevada. That's the next state. That's going to Shapiro. Rick Scott with a measly 3 electoral votes. He's going to have to get something going. Here comes Idaho. That's the next state. Rick Scott's got that. And look at that, we're going to go to Utah. That's the next state. Shapiro's got those. 6 more for him. How about Arizona? This is going to go red. We've got a red Arizona. Next state, Montana. Let's see who gets these 4 electoral votes. Josh Shapiro, he's got them. How about the next state, Wyoming? Only 3 electoral votes, but you never know. That could help. But it's going to help Shapiro. Rick Scott, only at 18, 97 for Shapiro. Here comes Colorado, 10 electoral votes. That's a good chunk. And Rick Scott, he's got that good chunk. Next state, New Mexico, 5 electoral votes, and 2 in a row for Rick Scott. Let's go to the Dakotas. How about that? North Dakota, 3 electoral votes. Rick Scott now, a little bit of a streak for him. Can he keep it going with South Dakota? Nope. That's going to Shapiro. He hasn't even 100. Next state, Nebraska at large. That's going to Rick Scott. He's got 2 more electoral votes. But now we've got to do each congressional district. Here's Nebraska's first. It's going to Rick Scott. Next flip is for Nebraska's second. Josh Shapiro's got that one. Here's Nebraska's third. Shapiro, he's got that one. Here comes Kansas. That's the next state. And the next flip, that's going to Rick Scott. Here comes Oklahoma. 7 more electoral votes. Who's going to get them? Rick Scott. He's going to get them. And now we've got Texas. Big state. 40 electoral votes. Rick Scott, I'm not going to say he needs them, but if he doesn't get these, it's going to be an uphill climb. Here it is. This is going to go to Rick Scott. Look at that. Now we've got a real close match here. Only 10 electoral votes separating both of these two. And it actually could be tied right up here. If you're Rick Scott, here comes Minnesota. And even 10 electoral votes. It does go to Rick Scott. And we've got 102 apiece. And this battle just heated right on up. Let's take it down to Iowa. And that's going to go to Josh Shapiro. He's not going to give Rick Scott the lead just yet. Next state, Missouri. 10 electoral votes. That's going to Rick Scott. So Rick Scott jumps out ahead slightly, 112 to 108. Here comes Arkansas, next state. And that's going to Rick Scott. And now we've got to go to Louisiana. Rick Scott again, he's got him. Let's go back up to Wisconsin. 10 more electoral votes. This is going to be Josh Shapiro. How about Illinois? It's a pretty blue state with a lot of electoral votes, but it's going to go red this time. Rick Scott, he's got 19 more. Next state, Michigan. Let's flip for it. This is going to go to Josh Shapiro. He's got Michigan. Indiana, here's the next flip. That's going to go to Shapiro. Very close battle here. 145 for Rick Scott, 144 Josh Shapiro, and here comes Kentucky. And this is going to go to Rick Scott. Next flip, Tennessee. That's going to go to Shapiro. Back and forth now. Shapiro on top slightly. Let's go to Mississippi. This is going to go to Rick Scott. Next state, Alabama. 9 electoral votes for Josh Shapiro. Shapiro ahead by 5 electoral votes as we come to Florida. Big state here. Somebody's going to have a nice lead. Let's flip for it. This is Rick Scott's home state. We can't forget that. And he does claim his home state. So Scott avoids embarrassment there. Let's go up 1 state. Here comes Georgia. 16 electoral votes for Josh Shapiro. How about South Carolina? Here it is. Rick Scott. He's got those 9. The next state's North Carolina. Here it is. A lot of votes here, 16 of them. Rick Scott, he's got those. Scott over 200 now. Let's go to Ohio. 17 electoral votes. Shapiro, he wants these. He's got them. Next state, West Virginia. Only 4 electoral votes, but Shapiro could go over 200, and he does. Rick Scott, 214. Josh Shapiro, 201. Very tight match. Let's go all the way to the Northeast. Here's Maine at large. Josh Shapiro, he's got those. 2 more. Next flip is Maine's 1st Congressional District. Here it comes, and it's going to Rick Scott. Next flip, Maine's 2nd Congressional District. This is going to go red, and Rick Scott, he has that. Now we come to New Hampshire. 4 electoral votes. And they're going to go red for Rick Scott. Next flip, the blue state of Vermont. Which way is it going to go? It's going to go red this time. And now we've got New York. 28 electoral votes. Josh Shapiro, he kind of needs these a little bit here, or else it'll be tough for him to come back. Let's flip for it. Let's not waste any more time. Can Rick Scott seal the deal? No. Josh Shapiro, he's got New York. And just like that, Shapiro has reclaimed the lead. It's getting very intense here, late in the game. Next flip, Massachusetts, 11 electoral votes. Rick Scott, he's got those. And just like that, Rick Scott's back on top by 3 electoral votes. Here comes Connecticut. 7 electoral votes, but they matter, and they are going to Rick Scott. Every little bit helps at this point, including Rhode Island. Only 4 electoral votes, but this is going to be coveted at this point, and Rick Scott's got them. Look at all that red in the Northeast, except for Maine at large. The next flip is New Jersey. 14 electoral votes. Josh Shapiro really wants these, and he has them. Those are going in the Shapiro column, and look at this, 245 to 245. I don't think it gets any closer than that. This is what we'd like to see, a back-and-forth, super close battle right at the end. And now we've got Delaware. Somebody's going to be ahead with 3 more electoral votes, and it's Josh Shapiro. He has 248. Now we've got Maryland, 10 more electoral votes, and these are coveted. And they are going to Rick Scott. He's got them. Next flip, Washington, D.C., 3 electoral votes. Here it is. And that's going to go to Josh Shapiro. And now there's only 2 states left. Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro's home state. He's the governor. Can he win his home state? He saw Rick Scott win his home state. And if he does win this, this would put him right at 270. So everything is on the line right here. 1 flip could determine the outcome. Here it is. Let's flip for it. Who's going to get it? It's Rick Scott. And Rick Scott wins this on Josh Shapiro's home state of Pennsylvania. Wow, that was very suspenseful. We have 1 state left. It's Virginia. It doesn't really matter. But let's flip for it anyway. And this is going to go to Josh Shapiro. And there's your final map, 274 for Rick Scott, 264 for Josh Shapiro. Everything came down to the last 2 states. That's what we want to see. Turns out it was Josh Shapiro's home state, and Rick Scott won it on his opponent's home state. I don't know if that's ever happened. That's pretty brutal if you are Josh Shapiro. What a night for Rick Scott. A lot of red on here, but a lot of blue as well. This was a back-and-forth coin flip battle. Shapiro had a big lead early on the West Coast. Somehow Rick Scott got back into this, and then there was so many lead changes, I lost count. But Rick Scott is heading to the White House. Josh Shapiro, he's going to have to just stay governor of Pennsylvania. And that was a great one. Let me know in the comments, did you have a good time on this coin flip battle? Or were you hoping Shapiro was going to be able to pull it out on his home state? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.